Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, college football fans across the nation and around the world. This is Tim May with the Tim May Show featuring Clay Hall. Clay Hall, welcome once again to the co-pilot seat of the Tim May Show.
Wow, it's unbelievable. It's a football Friday. You know, Tim, that
What?
UCLA has not beaten a number one since they beat the top-ranked Buckeyes in the 76 Rose Bowl, coached by Dick Vermeil, who beat Woody and went on to the Philadelphia Eagles. And it's been a while.
Yeah.
So
It's funny. I moved up to Columbus in 1976. That was after the 76 Rose Bowl. And Ohio State hosted UCLA, I think, that first year, and UCLA won. Yeah. And that was when I had the worst seats in the house, which were down in the closed in, down, I think it was I was in section 1AA, row 2. So I guess row 1 had the worst seats in the house. But yeah, I saw UCLA come to town, take care of business.
wow.
You know, Archie Griffin still regrets that game in 75 season, 76 Rose Bowl and stuff. Because,
Right.
you know, they had beaten them the earlier in the season and stuff fairly soundly. And then, have the tables turned like that. That just shows you, man, it's hard to beat a team twice in any kind of season. Just ask Oregon last year.
That's right.
But yeah, it's pretty cool. UCLA's coming to town with Nico Iamaleava, or however you pronounce it. Just don't call him late for the starting lineup. And
He's the running man.
he's the running man for UCLA, the quarterback.
He's all they got.
The transfer from Tennessee. You know, it's funny about all the crap he dealt with after leaving Tennessee, wanting a raise. Some people said he wanted the raise before they played in the playoff last year against Ohio State. And then, of course, afterwards he wanted a raise and ends up transferring to UCLA quarterback. But the bottom line is, you know, without him, they would have really been awful in Ohio Stadium last year when they played Ohio State. I'm talking about Tennessee. And it's funny because we've got some sound coming up from Ryan Day and then from Bo Jackson. We introduce you finally to Bo Jackson, Ohio State's leading running back at the moment.
That's it. We haven't heard much from him.
And then we also have some sound from Edric Houston. And, you know, we bring that up at the end of the interview with Edric Houston. You know, me and 20 or 30 of my closest friends there in the interview sessions, but about the respect they have for Nico Iamaleava. And the fact is, they do have somewhat of a scouting report because they faced him 11 months ago in Ohio Stadium in the frigid, frozen tundra of Ohio Stadium. And like I said, without him, Tennessee would have really been awful because their receivers couldn't run routes or catch passes. And they had no running game. They had supposedly the leading rusher in the Southeastern Conference last year, and he never got off track. And supposedly he was banged up, or he might have had frostbite or afraid of getting frostbite. But the bottom line is, you know, Nico and company pulled that upset against Penn State, started the snowball rolling, which led eventually 2 weeks later to the firing of James Franklin, and as in his 12th season at Penn State, and won a couple other games. And then now the bloom is sort of off the pumpkin when it comes to UCLA getting this upbeat, you know, under Coach Skipper getting this upbeat after firing their own coach, Deshaun Foster, earlier in the year when it was clear progress had not been made. And of course, Rick Neuheisel's son is the offensive coordinator for UCLA. So you got to expect some interesting things on Saturday night in the Horseshoe, because why not, right?
Well, you're going to expect him to run. I mean, he's got 96 carries. He calls me the stat man, but it does prove a point here. 5 yards a carry, 474 yards rushing, and in 5 games, he has double-digit carries. So he's going to take off. And as many have said, he's unafraid at 6'6", 215. Even Tim Skipper says he's tall and skinny.
Yeah.
And he's not a guy you would expect to lower his pads, but he does.
Yeah.
And so he will seek contact, as Ryan Day talked about. We got to hunt up that contact. So
got to be hunting it up.
I mean,
one of the great lines he's ever uttered.
Well, without him, they're probably 0-9. I mean, they're 3-6 now. It's lost 4, won 3, lost 2. So,
by the way, I don't call you the stat man. I call you El Hombre Estatistico.
Oh,
That's right.
Tell me what that is, because I kind of like this.
That means the big man, the big stat man. But I call you El Hombre Estatistico.
El Hombre.
El Hombre.
I like
that's Spanish. I know, Clay, you grew up in Mississippi and parts.
No, I grew up. He always says this. I was born there. My dad was transferred, so I grew up in the Midwest: Effingham, Illinois, Wichita, Kansas City, Indianapolis, Columbus.
Never has a city been more aptly named than Effingham.
So Effingham was good. We used to go out on Lake Sarah.
Yeah.
And the green, it was kind of a John Deere looking boat too. And I would ride on the top, and we'd go across, and I was probably like 8 and my brother was 3, hanging on in the back.
Yeah.
Great fun. Anyway, in Effingham, we had snow come over the house, man.
That's Illinois, ladies and gentlemen,
Yes.
because there's nothing to stop the wind in Effingham from the border with Missouri to the border with Indiana, Kentucky. There's nothing to stop the wind when the wind takes that fetch down the state of Illinois.
We were in the land of
Wisconsin.
Lincoln. We went to the Lincoln. Oh my gosh, that Lincoln. I know there's a Lincoln Memorial in D.C., but there's also anyway.
Yeah,
great fun and
by the way,
childhood memories.
Speaking of boat, my dad he and I were fishing on Sam Rayburn Reservoir.
Yeah,
about 10 minutes outside of Lufkin, Texas. Way back when I was in the 9th grade, and we were in our bass boat. And while we were in the boat, back then you didn't get up to date weather forecast like you get now. Every 5 seconds the wind has changed direction.
Yeah.
Anyway, I talked about the fetch. You know what fetch is? Is when wind is blowing straight down a big body of water like Lake Superior when they get the big waves and stuff. So it has a long way to build up. We were on Sam Rayburn Reservoir, which at that point, Toledo Bend hadn't been built yet, or hadn't been, I don't think, filled in yet, but it was getting there. But the point is, I think it was the largest man-made reservoir east of or west of something in the United States, largest in Texas. But anyway, so it's a long lake, like 30, 40 miles long. Reservoir. And it was blowing right down like the northwest is the way the thing is set up. We're out in these woods bass fishing. But it's woods. It's because this place has been flooded, so it's stands where dead trees where woods used to be, and so we're not really noticing, right? And suddenly we decided to go back. We were all the way across the lake, the reservoir. As we got on the main part of the reservoir, we're in a bass boat, which is about 2 feet maybe off the water, maybe not that high. And we had, I forgot what we had in the back. I think we had like a 90 horsepower Mercury engine or something. It might have been an Evinrude. And thing was aptly powered. And as we start back, all of a sudden, as we get into the middle of the lake, the waves, and we're going, the waves are coming this way. We're going that way. And the waves are higher than my head. I'm sitting in the front of the boat, or higher than my head.
Oh my.
Well, I'm sitting down. Of course, I got my little PFD personal flotation device on and stuff, and I got it tied up tight, just like my shirt here today. I got it buttoned up with my fan stream on the side here. But that's the scariest I've ever been in my life, that I was going to die. My dad would say the same thing, and he was a waist gunner on a B-24 in the Pacific Theater in World War II. Now, this was after most of the Zeros had been shot down. So they didn't see, but he's still a waist gunner on a B-24. Are you kidding me?
Right.
And
well, what happened?
Well, we get to the point of no return. In other words, if we turn around, we're going to be facing the same thing as going. And so we just plowed along. Water's coming into the boat. Yeah. But the bass boat thing is unsinkable. The way their hulls were made. You could fill the thing up with water and it wouldn't sink. And we finally made it. And my dad always let me drive the boat onto the trailer because I was really good at that. And but yeah, we got in the car afterwards. It was just me and him. I had 3 brothers, but and it was and we just kind of like looked at each other and then kind of stared straight ahead for like 20 minutes before we got going, because it was the scariest I've ever been. And since then, I've been afraid of big water.
Yeah.
I mean, I have been afraid of it because it shows no mercy. Just ask the Edmund Fitzgerald. But yeah, I mean, you've been out fishing on Big Time Lake.
Well,
You know?
I've been in the Gulf off Florida, and in the boat my dad called Serendipity.
Yeah.
And it was the two of us, and I was like, I kept asking, how far are we going?
Yeah. What fishing hole do you know that's out in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico?
Dad, I don't see land.
Yeah.
Turn around.
Not me, baby.
Woo.
That will never be me. The closest I've come to that is on a cruise. I've only taken one cruise in my life, but it was fun. My wife and I
It was worth it.
Oh yeah. It was before we, had 3 kids. I think we only had 2 at that point. And but the bottom line was, I'll take a cruise on a big ship. But man, I see those videos of cruise ships on the Mediterranean with these big, and I'm just going,
don't want it.
Tim May will never go cruising on the Mediterranean, or any other thing where there could be where there's any kind of like hurricane warning in the next month or 2. But anyway, of course, I digress. Speaking of hurricane warnings,
yes,
the college football playoff selection committee. And this is what's funny, because I asked Ryan Day about what this guy said about Ohio State.
Well, now
on
he's
Tuesday
gone.
night. Dude, why do you always have to give away the punchline? You're like my buddy Jeff Snook. If he's heard me tell a story and I'm telling somebody else a story, he's always jumping to the punchline. And I'm going, dude, what are you doing? You're stepping on my stuff.
I didn't know you were going that direction.
Yeah, I'm going that direction. Mac Rhodes, the athletic director at Baylor, has stepped away from his post at Baylor for personal reasons, of which haven't been delineated. I mean, there have been some hints, but the bottom line was maybe the last thing he ever uttered in public was on Tuesday night when he talked about Ohio State being, in essence, I'm paraphrasing, a cut above everybody else. The debate among the committee leading up to the latest rankings was who should be number 2. Should it be Indiana or Texas A&M? And then you got Alabama sitting right there. But it's really interesting. All of a sudden, the next day, he has gone on a personal leave of absence. It didn't, the release didn't necessarily say Baylor made him, but it sure sounds like Baylor made him take a personal leave of absence. And now they've Hunter Yurachek, the athletic director at Utah, has been named to the committee, and he's the new chair of the selection committee. And excuse me, he's from he's the Arkansas athletic director, and they named Hunter Yurachek the athletic director. Excuse me, I'm jumping ahead of myself here. Harlan, who's the athletic director at Utah, has been named to the committee, so they wouldn't have 2 empty seats sitting there because they already had 1 empty seat.
Yeah. Yep.
But anyway, what I'm getting to here is this is what Mac Rhodes, as we talked about, I believe on our last show, had some glowing things to say about Ohio State. Now that point is moot because he's no longer on the committee, but he was speaking for the committee.
Right.
And so at the media availability on Wednesday, what they call a lightning round with Ryan Day, I asked Ryan what he, this is what the committee sees of you. This is what Mac Rhodes said about Ohio State being in essence, a cut above everybody else, a complete team is the way he explained it. And offensive line, defensive line, right on down the line. And by the way, I was going to try to quit saying so much. One time on my podcast when I was at Letterman Row, I started the KUHP, K-UH-P. And I put $1 in it every time I said, the cut up. And maybe I better start the same thing, except, on a fixed income, being a retiree.
It's a podcast.
I'm not sure I can afford it. Yeah, but too many blow it up. So I'm going to try not to say for the next 2 minutes. But anyway, because I would have added an right there. But anyway, let's hear what Ryan had to say when I asked him about that. And the point is what I asked him, and you'll hear me. I asked him, what do you see in your team right now? What do you see your team as? But it's pretty interesting.
Chair for the College Football Playoff Committee basically intimated there's definitely a debate between 2 and 3, Indiana and Texas A&M and run them down the board. But when it comes to Ohio State, y'all are considered a cut above. He sees a complete offensive and defensive line playing extremely well. Your Spiel guys, Jeremiah Smith, right on down the line, yada, yada, yada. What do you see when you look at this team right now and going into Saturday, and what can you see can be better?
Well, the first thing is that everybody has to understand, players, coaches, everybody, how exact, how on point we have to be. And that's every week, and the teams that we're playing now and the teams that we're playing in the future. Well, we got to be good, and that's going to take great energy. It's going to take great finish. It's going to take great focus. I mean, it's going to take everything we got to get there. And so it's one thing to say, okay, we've done X, Y, and Z up until this point, but that means absolutely nothing, like zero. We've done nothing. So I understand everyone's got to talk about those things, but none of that has anything to do with what we're doing moving forward. So if we think that has anything to do with this weekend or where we're going, then we're dead wrong. So, we have to make sure we all understand that. And it's my job to make sure I remind the team, the players and coaches included, how good we got to be. And so that's really more the message than anything. I think, the good news is, we have a chance. And that's good. And we said this from the beginning. We want to be the first team ever to be back-to-back. And that's a tall task. It's easy to say. It's another thing to do. And so, we're in the middle of it right now, but got a lot of work to do, and we got to continue to stay focused on what matters.
Imagine waking up every day, and Ryan Day says this is what really gets him going. Waking up every day with the idea. Imagine you and I waking up every day trying to make this podcast better.
Well, I think we try to do that.
I
think it's very bold.
You know what? But we're not held. We're not held to the standard.
Well, we don't have the win-loss record.
We also aren't making $12 million a year. But imagine waking up and it starts.
Yeah.
People can talk about it all they want. You look around the country, the head coach, the right head coach sets the tone, baby. And he's got to be focused big time, with the belt in his hand, for his coaches and his players. I mean, that being figurative, of course, there. About whatever you did yesterday, who cares? What are you doing today to get better? These people all have slapped this big comic-looking target on our back.
Mm-hmm.
They're all shooting for us, either with a rubber band or with a 22. Who knows what they're armed with coming in? But we're the biggest thing. Yeah. No, we're the biggest thing on their schedule, and we're being expected to play at a certain level every week, if not higher.
I think it's extremely bold of him to say it. He said it in the preseason as well, that this is what we're going after. Make no bones about it. And that even adds to the burden when he says we're going for back-to-back. It's never been done here. So every time he says that, I'm like, oh my, now you got everybody all jacked up. But that's part of
But that's the goal.
That is the goal, and he's not shying away from it.
That's the goal.
Every minute of every day.
This team, well, we can talk about it because we're in the media. This team has a chance to really do something, which is go back to back, but be the first team in history to go 16-0. I mean, this team has really got opportunities now.
Yeah.
To put it last year, put Ohio State was always on the map, put Ohio State more prominently back on the map with that run to the national championship after all seemed lost, after woe is we, blah, blah, blah. And, of course, they got it done. Now this has all the possibilities. Dare I say it, it feels like Miami in 2002 when who's going to beat this team? And so – we're going to find out if anybody can beat this team, but it's crazy to walk around with those kind of self-imposed expectations. Cause there's what's wrong with aiming for the, what's that old line? Thing. Yeah. Old line. John Cooper said, I'd rather, you aim for the sky and you hit the ground, but if you aim for the stars and you hit an eagle, hey, that's a big deal. And still doesn't make sense to me even to this day what he said.
I missed that one.
Well, he's talking about bow and arrow,
yeah,
blah, blah,
sure.
blah. But the bottom line is, yeah, you aim for the biggest thing, man. I mean,
Yeah.
why not? And have everybody focused on the fact that you can always be better than you were yesterday. And that's his focus, man. It's just making sure these guys, because they're going to run into more obstacles. They ran into obstacles last week when they had to start a new guy at right tackle, Ian Moore. And boy, did he play well, in my opinion. What, I mean, he played more plays in that game probably he played his entire college career so far. And he stepped up. I mean, there are guys that stepped up. Coming up, we're going to have sound with Edric Houston. Tywan Malone was banged up last week. Tywan Malone's been playing pretty well at that other defensive tackle spot. Boom, Edric Houston, who we all had projected as a starter at one of the defensive tackle spots going into the year until he suffered that injury in preseason camp on the first day. We've talked about that ad nauseum, but that's okay. Bottom line is he stepped up last week and reestablished himself as this 5-star dude they went and got out of Georgia, who was down to Georgia and Alabama on signing day, last year and a half ago. And is he stepping up? I mean, that's a 5-star coming online for you going into the 10th game of the year after playing well last week. So, and of course we got, we've talked about Bo Jackson, this freshman. I don't call him a phenom, but boy, he's playing extremely well, leading the team in rushing. He and Isaiah West, the other freshman, seem to have become the two top running backs. C.J. Donaldson is still the guy you lean on in short yardage and also from leadership standpoint, and also in pass pro sometimes, a sure pass pro situation, you'll see him go in and stuff. But, another John Cooperism, if a dog will bite you, he'll bite you as a pup. Well, Bo Jackson and Isaiah West are yapping. I mean, they are biting, baby.
He's like the lead musher on the Iditarod team.
Yeah.
I mean, he's distinguished himself. He is that guy, 80-something yards a game.
Yeah.
The guy and
the guy. El Hombre.
They're going to run it. But can you imagine? I mean,
El Hombre Estatistio. That's by the way, if you just tuned in, that's Clay Hall for me. Go ahead.
Well, just if they got to 16-0, displaces Jim Trustle's 14-0. He rises to an even higher that I'm not going to jinx.
Yeah, that was the first team to ever go 14-0.
Yeah,
in major college football, and it took in a lot of people's mind an upset at the end, the 13-point underdog, and they beat Miami. But here's the point: why not aspire to that?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting because, like I said about Hillary, the guy that Sir Edmund Hillary.
Yeah.
He went up. He was the first quote man end quote to go up Everest. Probably not, because he had a guide with him, Tenzing Norgay. Who knows how many times? Sir Edmund Hillary went up Everest once and almost killed him. Tenzing Norgay probably went up 100 times. So it's, anybody can get to the top, but then to get to the top again, like Alabama was the last team to win back-to-back national championships. And that was led by the GOAT.
Sure.
At this point, to this point in history, the GOAT, Nick Saban. So notice I'm not saying
You're not.
Yeah, but I'm stammering, but I'm almost stammering because I'm almost saying it.
But
so I'm catching myself.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when I start. Did I just say one then? Anyway, bottom line is I digress too much. Bottom line is it's very difficult to go back up Everest a second time. Now, the great thing I really think is fueling this climb this year is everybody's not back like they were in 2015. They replaced 8 starters on the defense, Ohio State did. They replaced key guys on the offense, including your starting quarterback.
Well, everybody, they marvel.
Their running backs are above. We all watched Travion Henderson score 3 touchdowns for New England last night. I mean,
he's gone.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And they've replaced those guys, and now they've got guys, Bo Jackson, Isaiah West stepping up. The 2 youngest guys in the room have stepped up big time. Let's get to almost like getting to know Bo Jackson, because he hasn't been made available for interviews
Not much
since the season started. And let's just let him go. I mean, keep in mind, he's a real freshman. He's not like Julian saying a second-year freshman.
Right.
He's a real freshman, and out of the Cleveland area, and really, just wowed people up there. You'll hear him talk about that too. But let's get to some sound. Let's get some sound from Bo Jackson.
To talk to you since you've blossomed. What have the last many weeks been like for you? I mean, getting in the run of things, so to speak.
Oh yeah, it's been very fun. Just being able to get adjusted and play as much as I've been able to play as a freshman.
Yeah. What have you shown so far that you feel proud about, and what do you have to work on, you think, going forward?
I feel like everything in my game I have to work on, but I feel like I showed great being able to come out and be tough.
Yeah. Did Jeremiah apologize to you, or was that just a lucky draw last week? And what kind of bummer was it to have to bring it back?
Yeah, it was a bummer. But we made jokes about it and laughed past it.
Yeah.
By the way, we were talking about he had that great run, first play from scrimmage at Purdue. And man, you've heard me ask Ryan Day, how much would a home run by one of these running backs really just get them going? And they got it, and then
just a little touch.
And then you look back, and there's a flag for a ticky-tack, but it was legit. You could call it.
He put his hands on him.
And so they called it, yeah. I mean, but Jeremiah Smith more than made up for it with
10
catches and touchdown, right on down the line. But that's what we were referring to there with that question.
Talk to you about the first opportunities you've had to start and play on the road in the Big Ten. What was that experience been like, and do you like playing on the road?
Oh yeah, the energy on the road is very different than being just in the shoe. Yeah, and I love it.
What was it like playing at the shoe for the first time for you?
Oh yeah, it was crazy. The energy was crazy. The fans going crazy. Yeah, it was very fun.
Bo, for a freshman, it's not always the easiest transition. What is it that you maybe did in the offseason that made it seem like it's been pretty smooth for you?
You just got to put your head down and trust in the process, trust the coaches, and just buy in and believe everything they say.
When did you feel that you could deliver? I mean, I know you walked in here, you think you could play and stuff, but when did you feel really good about what you could bring to this team immediately?
I wouldn't say it was an exact time, but when you get your shot, you just got to take it.
Yeah. What was that run, though, where you felt real comfortable out there? You know what I mean? Both thinking back, because obviously Texas game you didn't play. I mean, when was that moment when you kind of felt like, hey, I can do this thing?
Just throughout all spring ball, all fall camp. Just working as hard as I can and making as many plays as I can.
Do you feel like, I don't want to put this in your mind, but we saw one, but it was a foul ball. It was a home run, but a foul ball last week. Do you feel like there's a home run coming?
Yeah, I feel like there's always home run potential.
Why?
I feel like I always got that potential to make big plays.
I agree, but I had to get my volume buttons here. So when Clay makes some kind of guffaw or something in the middle, it won't interfere. Clay, I'm always blaming you.
Yeah,
no,
you're on me.
That was kind of a little bit of I just want you want the guy to to express himself on these things.
Right,
man. In the spring, we saw what was coming. In preseason camp, we saw what was coming with Bo Jackson. And I thought, I just think it's cool now to see it come to fruition. The big question was, as a freshman, and then, believe me, you're playing with grown men. You go from like playing with big boys,
right,
to playing with grown men, and you always wonder whether it can translate and whether push comes to shove, somebody will shy away. We haven't seen Bo Jackson shy away, correct?
No, and there's a lot of pushing and shoving.
Yes.
That's for sure, for a running back who can keep, you can be hit on 15 sides of your body in
one play.
Bingo. Yeah.
15 sides.
That's
a hell of a diamond.
Well, that's a toe and an ankle and a shin and a, boom, boom. Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody's got your face mask and somebody's maybe down in the pile giving you the business. I mean, you never know what's going on, but the way he stepped up and wants the ball, man, he wants to be in there. And that's what really separates the great ones. I I don't think it's just hyperbole to think he could be really special. I think he already has been special. He's been the starting running back now for several weeks on the number 1 team in the country.
There you go.
Right?
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Let's get back to some more sound from him.
Okay.
Today was talking about kind of the injury you went through at the end of your high school career and then showing up here as an early enrollee. How big was that for you to show up, and have the opportunity in the spring to kind of get into the groove of things?
Oh yeah, the spring was big for me. Coming off that injury, that was my first time really playing football again. It was just me trying to gain my confidence back and get used to playing football actually.
What's it been like playing for Coach Locke?
Oh yeah, it's been great. Coach Locke, he cared a lot. He's very intense, but I always had coaches like that. So.
So it's not often that a team has 4 running backs who share the load. 2 is what happened last year, even 3 sometimes. But 4, how is that working out for you guys? Do you feel like that's good because it keeps you guys fresh, or is it kind of tough because you maybe hard to get in a rhythm?
No, Coach Locke always preaches be as one, so just playing as one, and I think it's really good for us.
Bo, when you were at VASJ, how many different ways did they like to use you?
Oh yeah, they use me in a couple different ways. Line me up in the slot, running back, wildcat a little bit.
So when Coach Day talks about the versatility he looks for in running backs, how important do you think it was to be versatile in high school, and how easy of a transition was it when you got here?
Oh yeah, I think that's very important, being able to be in high school and then being able to catch the ball out the backfield and everything, and show how versatile I am, so they could be able to use me.
What's your scouting report in baseball? What was this Bo Jackson baseball player like?
I'll say big hitter. I pitched, played center field, coast to coast on center field, so yeah.
You led the area in hitting. You led Cleveland area in hitting.
Yeah, I did.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah, thank you.
Bo Jackson played a little bit of outfield. Did you ever watch his video?
Yeah, all the time. Yeah.
What stood out to you about him that you kind of incorporated, you think, in your own game? He had great speed.
Yeah, his athleticism, man.
Yeah.
The way he moved, it was just different.
Yeah. What has Coach Locke gotten out of you most of all the last couple of months, Bo? Or anything else like pass pro? What has he really gotten out of you that maybe needed work done on it?
Oh, everything. Just becoming a better all-around back with pass pro, reads, everything.
But what's your scouting report on Isaiah West?
Oh, Isaiah, he's super smooth, super quick, super explosive. Yeah.
What's the relationship like when there are 2 running backs in the same recruiting class and you have a chance? You're playing with this guy for a bunch of years at Ohio State. What are you and Isaiah like together?
Oh yeah, Isaiah, we super close. That's literally like my brother. We be together all the time, watching film. Yeah.
Really? Is that kind of nice, having that kind of relationship with the guy in your class who's at the same position?
Yeah, I feel like you got to have that relationship with him.
Did that develop during recruiting or more once you guys got here in the summer?
Yeah, more once we got here in the spring.
Okay.
Through the first 9 games of your college career, what's the most important lesson that you've taken on the field?
Just do your job, do your responsibilities and everything will work out.
And then as a young running back, when you have a touchdown taken off the board like that, how do you shape your mentality to be able to bounce back from a moment like that?
You just got to move on to the next play like it never happened. Yeah.
Forgive me for not being familiar, but where did the Bo nickname start from?
It was just a nickname that my mom and dad gave me since I was young. My dad was a big fan of it.
He was a fan of Bo Jackson, so started calling you Bo.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you ever have to, do you feel like having that nickname, you have to play up to that level, or do you feel any pressure about being compared to him? Is there how does that sit with you?
No, I try to not put no pressure on myself about the name.
Have you heard from him?
Nah.
Really?
Nah.
Yeah, I would think you would by now. Yeah. What is the thing about college football that you most had to adjust to, Bo? I mean, was it just the total physical style of it? I mean, to play as a freshman, it seems almost daunting in some respects. But what do you feel like you adjusted to most quickly about this game?
Obviously I had to adjust to the physical side, the guys being bigger, faster, and stronger than they were in high school. But also the mental side, you gotta know your reads, know the plays, be inside the playbook.
How much has it helped, you or Isaiah, Ryan Day's talked about how young, relatively speaking, this running back room is. Just how much does it help to have a guy like CJ who's played at the collegiate level for a while, knows and has seen a lot? Just how much do you guys lean on him?
Oh, we lean on him all the time. Ever since we got here, he just became like a mentor for both of us.
All right, Bo, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Bo.
You know what the beauty of this running back room, Tim, there is so much tread on the tires right now. And because they are using those 4 guys. I mean, I had to buy 4 tires for my wife's car the other day, and that thing, you're supposed to be at 11 or 12. That thing was down to 4. But these cats, they're still around 8 or 9, I think. And it's a great sign, because this thing's going to get moving so fast because of the challenges and the increased competition as they make their way to the playoff. And to have those guys smooth and ready to go, I think is huge.
The thing I like about Bo Jackson, just like I liked about Eddie George when he first showed up, and Zeke Elliott took a while, but boy, when he got going, Zeke Elliott was as good as there's ever been here, especially they should have, if they awarded the Heisman Trophy when they should, which is after all the games have been played.
Yeah.
Although that doesn't give the people who don't get to play in the bowls or the playoffs equal. I don't care about that. I mean, Zeke Elliott was the best running back in the country at the end of the 2014 season when they won the national championship. But some guys can just do it, man. I mean, they have a knack for Carlos Snow. Had the big touchdown in the Ohio State upset win at Michigan in 1987 after Earl Bruce had been fired, but a little swing pass out to the left.
That's
and he
right.
took it up the sideline. My point is, some guys, they are different. You can see the difference between C.J. Donaldson, the veteran. Really, you talk about the Iditarod. He's the lead dog of that group. I mean, he's the older brother who's showing maybe the other guys the way. James Peoples has come on in the last couple of weeks and proving, he started the season and was supposedly the heir apparent and then had to step back because these other guys were coming along. Now he's gotten more effective as a runner in bits and pieces, but you can see the potential there. But to see a guy step onto a major college campus in January and be your starting running back in October, that says a lot about his talent. It says a lot about your ability to pick out guys that can play at the next level, but it also says a lot about his talent, his stamina, his physicality, as we talked about in that interview, because that's the big difference.
His development.
And he wants the ball, man. I mean, he's like not shying away. It is totally the opposite of that. And man, the way he and Isaiah West have come on of late is quite impressive. Let's get to another guy that's come on or has the potential to really come on. And that's Edric Houston. And, we sang his praises back in the preseason. You and I on this show when we first started going on this show, but they gotten banged up in preseason camp. He basically suffered a hyperextended
the first
knee.
day, wasn't it?
Yeah, hyperextended knee just out of nowhere. And there's but he stuck with it. He's one of the more personable fellows.
That's it.
On the 2025 Buckeyes. Sits in on interviews every now and then, messes with people to a certain extent, but clearly is curious, pays attention to the scene. That's what I like about guys who aren't, as I call it, floating like a leaf on a creek. You know what I mean? Wherever the creek goes, that's where they go. He's got a canoe and he's paddling it, for one of them, to stay in that semi-analogy. But let's get to some stuff that we got to talk with Edric Houston. You get to know him a little bit better through this interview.
Thank you.
He's coming up here just momentarily, as soon as we can get him a seat at the table. There he is.
Well, I feel like we definitely have people in this facility to help you through stuff like that, because it comes with a game, but at the same time, you don't expect it to be that early. But there are people in the facility that help me, such as all the trainers, Sean Barnhouse, Tyler Dean, Stewart, everybody that helped me get back to be able to play this season.
By the way, Stewart is Adam Stewart, known as Stewie, and
the fact
he's the guy that got JT Barrett ready to play. Remember, in a week after arthroscopic surgery, and has helped so many guys. He's been sought after by NFL teams and stuff. One of the great young men you're going to run into. You get into the depths of Ohio State football. whenever it's a home game, he always runs up the ramp after the game is over, but I always interrupt him and have him put his hands on my shoulder or elbow, whatever's hurting that day, so it'll immediately feel better because he has
The magic touch.
he has that impact. Adam Stewart, man, he's one of those valuable members of the support team at Ohio State, but so the other guys he named, Sean Barnhouse, known him for a long time, and just what these guys do behind the scenes to keep a football team running is, the training staff.
That's why they got a seat on the plane.
And the medical staff. Yeah, exactly. But let's get back to more with Edric Houston.
Feel healthy.
I felt healthy the Texas game to come back and play and help my team as much as I can. I just had to keep working to get better and better.
Edric, I'm not sure what you've gone through this season, but to be back on the field in the starting role last week, how good did that feel for you?
It felt good, but I felt as though we had one down last week, so I was going to step into that role and just do my best that I can with what I've been taught for the week.
What do you think it is that's maybe clicked for you as the season's gone along that's allowed you to play better and better as the year's gone on?
I say extra work after practice, just on the things that I need to work on. There's plenty of things that people do well and people need to work on. So being able to take that time out of practice instead of going straight home, just with different coaches, having that time out to just work on whatever I need to has helped me a lot.
What were those things you felt like you needed to work on?
It's just nothing specific. It's just things that me and Coach Patricia and Coach Jay seen that I need to work on. Coach Patricia calls it 100 shots, so that's what we call it, and we just get those in after every practice, and they've helped me get better.
Is that a hard thing to do, to have the dedication to put in the extra hours after practice like that?
No. Once you get to this level, and especially if you want to go to the next level, you got to be willing to put in that time. So Coach Patricia, Coach Jay, anybody in the facility will tell you, if you want to get to that next level, you got to be willing to put in the work. Or if you want to get on the field and contribute, you got to put in the extra work after practice or whenever you can, or before practice with film and different stuff like that.
By the way, earlier, did you hear all that banging that was going on? I think when we had when Ryan Day was on the screen, that was guys. Practice had been over for 15 minutes or 10 minutes.
That's right.
And the guys were still over there hitting those.
That's the difference.
Those reaction plates invented by Anthony Schlegel or developed by Anthony Schlegel. Maybe is the best way of putting it. Former Ohio State Buckeye. Wow. You can always hear those things when they're going off, and some other things they were working on. Because, and the thing about it is, you're not required. There are a lot of things you're not required to do that the great teams, the great players do, and
no, that Edric Houston talked about that. You have to be willing.
That's why I'm relating to it. Right. Yeah. You have to be willing to put in that extra work, and it's not like you're trying to impress somebody because everybody there's working their rear ends off, But it's you want to get better because you want to be the guy on a number one team in the country. You want to be playing a lot, and the way you get to play a lot, like Ryan Day was talking about it at the jump here today, you got to keep improving. It sounds so trivial, sounds so but yeah, the great teams keep improving, and just like the great race teams, they don't roll in with a race car in Formula One at the beginning of the year, and they're not running. The guys that are running the same car they rolled out with at the beginning of the year are all also running last, if in fact even making it to the end of races at the end of the year. All the big time teams are McLaren, Mercedes, Red Bull, right on down the line. They're Ferrari. They're all improving their cars as the year goes on. Same way in NASCAR and everything else, but it's the same way with the football team. You're either getting better or you're getting worse.
That's it.
Because if you're and the point is, if you're standing pat, you're getting worse because somebody out there is working and getting better.
Gaining ground.
Yeah. So let's hear some more from Edric Houston.
Ryan, about you, and this is for everybody, right? You talked about maturity being an important thing and maturing over the course of your career. How do you feel what ways do you feel like you've matured over the course of these 2 seasons here?
Definitely making that jump especially from defensive end or D tackle last year, and just being able to just take on that role, listen to the coaches, because that comes with a lot. That's a different animal inside. So being able to listen to the coaches and they be able to help me out with whatever I need really helped me through this process.
Speak on that animal. What is the different animal you have to
you have
to channel, so to speak?
Yeah, you gotta think like defensive end. A lot of stuff is a lot different because in our scheme, our defensive end do a lot of different things than D tackles.
Yeah,
and also like the play. There's like I said last time, there's like there's 600 pounds that you got to deal with most of the times on double teams and stuff like that you might not have to deal with at the end.
So so what animal are you thinking about when you're playing?
Coach Jay got in his room for us to think like King Kong mentality.
Yeah,
that's our main thing.
Yeah.
Edric, you mentioned the flexibility or the position that you guys have to play up front. What's it been like to go through this season with Coach Patricia and learn kind of different fronts and things that he's been teaching you guys?
It's been great. He's willing to help you regardless. If you have a question about the defense, his door is always open to walk in there and ask him questions. And Coach Jay's catching on, and Coach Jay's amazing. I love Coach Jay and everything. And him and Coach Patricia together helped us just be able to capture this defense and take it on.
By the way, Coach Jay, that's Larry Johnson.
Yep.
And the GOAT, as they say, of defensive line coaching.
The rush man.
But yeah, that's how I didn't give up on the pursuit of, so what animal is that?
Yes, indeed. And you got the great answer.
No, I just, but the King Kong mentality is the way you got to play, man, especially the big guys in the middle, Caden McDonald and Edric Houston and Will Smith Jr. and Tywan Malone, who's really come on. I mean, you gotta play big.
That's
you gotta play big or get eaten, man. I mean, it's the law. It's the law of the jungle in terms of interior line play.
Well, you got to be 10 feet tall and bulletproof, as our friend Bo Bishop often says, and I'm not sure if he invented that or got it elsewhere, but that's it. You've got to be the baddest man in the jungle.
Yeah, or you've got to play like it. I mean, you've got to just have that mentality and that you're not going to hurt me, and I'm going to take on a double team block here. But you know what? The next play, I'm going to step right in between that double team block and tear up some stuff. So, but the King Kong mentality, I always liked King Kong. I thought he was underrated as a superhero. But anyway, let's get back to Edric Houston here.
Has it been to get to the consistency that the coaches are asking for everybody from you, for you to get there?
Really hasn't been that hard. Just been able to, my main thing is to be coachable and let the coach, whatever I need to do right or fix, then I'll do it with no questions asked, because that's one thing that's going to get me better. These coaches have plenty of experience, way more than I do. So being able to have these type of coaches around me and to listen to is really great.
You seem like a nice fellow when we get to talk to you and stuff. But is there a switch you flip that you have to flip when you play down inside from a nasty get after it kind of dude? You understand? Take no prisoners.
So we got this thing Coach Day calls the red line. So everything from here on, that's football. So you got to flip that switch. You got to be a different dog out there, because like he always says, the game doesn't care about your feelings. So you got to kind of turn that switch and you got to go. But you also, when you go back across that red line, you got people to help you, like Coach Day, Sharon, your coaches, anybody to help you mentally if you don't want to keep that switch on, because it's not always good to have a football mentality outside of the field.
What is that football mentality about you? You talk about the animal, talk about King Kong and stuff, but when you really have it going on and switched on, what are you all about?
My main thing that I've been talking about is that I don't want to be blocked.
That's a good.
That is a good resolve.
That's a good resolve for a defensive lineman or anybody else playing on the defensive side of the ball, but
can't be blocked.
Think about it, man. You've got it when you go out onto a football field, and I've talked about this. That's why I always ask these guys a question like that, because Caden Curry's a different dude when he's out on the football field. You can see it, and And the thing about it is, sorry about that alarm going off, but you can see it. And but all of these guys have to be that way. Caleb Downs, a couple of weeks ago, the way he launched into that guy, he's lucky he didn't get targeted for targeting. He did get targeted, but he didn't get pulled over.
That's right.
But the bottom line is, you got to be that way.
You got to go full out.
Correct.
You're going to get hurt if you don't.
And the thing is, it's going to be a physical day. To me, it's like boxing. If it goes the distance, 12 rounds, you're going to absorb some hits and you're going to give out some hits. But especially for defensive linemen, all day, man, that's a boxing match. That's a wrestling match, boxing match, no holds barred kind of thing going on.
Well, can you imagine how they feel on Sunday morning?
Correct.
I mean, goodness.
Correct. So it takes guys like Edric Houston says, you can't walk through society feeling that way, that you feel like in the midst of a game. You've got to calm yourself down. And they have guys, help you with your mental health and everything else at Ohio State, which Ryan Day is not just fully endorsed, but he's become a banner carrier for it because, and not just football players, anybody in life, but the bottom line is the way these guys can switch it on and switch it off is crazy. I remember I was talking to some boxer after he got done fighting one time, and I asked him some kind of leading question, and his trainer was sitting there right next to him. He goes, "You better look out, Mr. May." He goes, "He's still got the blood up." You know what I mean?
Right.
Meaning,
yeah.
And you might not. You might get more answer than you wanted. But let's finish off with Edric Houston here, and then we'll come back, and when this is done, we'll just talk briefly about a couple of games we're looking forward to this weekend, other than Ohio State versus UCLA, the big one in the shoe at 7:30 on Saturday night.
You do your job having K-Mac next to you.
It's great. Not just K-Mac. You got to add in KJ, Katie Curry, Tywan Malone, Will Smith Jr. There's a bunch of us that's fit into that world that's been able to help you, especially with just everybody doing their job. Then you got to think about the people behind me. You got Arvell Reese, Sonny Styles, Jermaine Matthews, IGB, Caleb, and I got Jalen McClain, some great players that do their role in order for us to eat up front.
Go ahead. How special is it just to be a part of a defense like that? Second year in a row, you guys are leading the country.
It feels great. We all put in the work day in, day out, on and off the field to become what we are now. And we haven't earned nothing yet. That's the main thing we talk about in our meetings. We won a couple games, but we haven't got any hardware yet. And we just want to keep working each and every day to do our best and do our best for this team.
It looked like last year Ty and Tyreek played their best in November, December, and January. How much did you guys learn from them in the midweek aspect of how to make sure that you guys are well rested, but also playing really well and making sure that you're playing your best late in the season when you've played 15 games already?
Tyreek and Ty were very open to their routine. Especially me coming in as a young guy and playing a little bit, I really wanted to know what's the different steps in order to become great, because they're amazing players. Tyreek first round and Ty Hamilton's doing his thing. So I just wanted to know, what do they do? What changed in their routine and different stuff like that, because once you get this wear and tear in your body after all these games, you want to know what to do to make your body feel ready to play.
I feel like you guys have done a good job of that this year and making sure that you guys are ready for the next 6 or 7 games if you guys get that done.
Yeah, most definitely, especially with the help of Coach Mick. He's going to be on us about recovery and making sure that we get our lift in too. So we have individual strength coaches. D-line's Coach Kenny Parker, which is great. Helps us keep our routine, make sure we stay on it. He'll text you, call you, and make sure that you stay on that routine. So I appreciate him and just keeping us going.
Forgive me if you've been asked this already, but just how do you prepare for a quarterback like Nico with UCLA, just his running game, and do you feel like you got the line is faced with a quarterback like him already this season?
Yeah, Nico's I don't like to compare him to the Washington quarterback, because Nico and him have two different strengths and weaknesses. But you also got to think Nico's a great player. He takes hits, but he'll get back up and do his thing. So you just got to be aware of his feet, him on the ground and in the air, because he can hurt you both ways. So just being able to, can't really give out the game plan, but just being able to contain him is what we'll do.
Does it help that y'all played him before? Does it help you've seen him before?
It does, but that was a year ago almost, and he's had an off season just like we did to get better and better. So we can't base him off where he was at Tennessee. We got to watch the film and collect data on him right now.
Yeah. Not only has it been 11 months, he's had that much time to thaw out since the last time Ohio State saw him against Tennessee in a frigid evening.
In SoCal, he's probably warmed up.
He's probably warmed up pretty well. But, yeah, I'm looking forward to this game on Saturday because I'm looking forward to watching Nico Iamaleava play. He's an outstanding football player who was a big-time recruit at Tennessee. And we all know what happened there. Things didn't work out, whether he wanted, how much more money he wanted, whatever.
I'm wondering if that was a family thing.
He's now at UCLA. Well, family has a lot to do with it. Your third uncles and everybody else, as Urban Meyer likes to call them now. Hey, real quick before we go, a game you're looking forward to, maybe not watching, but at least knowing about this weekend, a game that has piqued your interest.
Yeah, we'll be monitoring for sure in the shoe on a lot of games. USC, Iowa. And you're thinking, oh, okay, because USC still got a shot to get to 10-2. Iowa took one on the chin. Oregon eked it out on the last second field goal, but Iowa is defense ready. They're a little more offensively minded than they have been, but they don't put up a lot of points. So SC has a shot with Iowa, UCLA still to come, etc.
And Oregon.
Yeah, bingo, which is a huge stumbling block for them.
USC wins out. USC probably makes the college football playoff is the point.
You bet.
2 games I've got my eye on. Pittsburgh, Notre Dame playing at Pittsburgh because Notre Dame's played hardly anybody, but they're still highly regarded for some reason. Yeah. The 2 teams they played that were any good both beat them, Miami and Texas A&M.
Right.
But the bottom line is, this is maybe the last threat to Notre Dame. I like Notre Dame. I'm not sure they're as good as they were last year, but playing at Pitt's going to be interesting. And then, of course, you've got Texas and Georgia, which starts at exactly the same time as Ohio State, UCLA on Saturday night at Georgia. Texas. What I want to call it Texas last gasp. What's your take? Because they're already setting it down in down in SEC territory. They're already setting the table for what do you mean a 3-loss team can't make the college football playoff?
Well, maybe, but they're going to lose to Georgia. They're going to lose to A&M. They almost lost to Mississippi State. So
yes,
I mean, Arch is doing better for sure.
Yeah,
just don't see it. Just Georgia, to me, goodness gracious, they are so big, strong. They just push people around.
Well, Georgia's not a great defense by any stretch
this year,
but they seem to be able to light the match when they need to offensively and score and then make a play on defense, which decides the game most of the time and stuff. So yeah, you're right. But I see it as last gasp for Texas, and of course they're seeing it as well. If we lose this, we can still get in with 3 losses. That's how they talk.
Yeah.
Actually, well, we can still get in with 3 losses. That's how they talk down there. I know because I talk like that naturally.
I like how we'll have to do some more. I liked all the boxing analogies today. And I remember Cold Blood Clark. I remember, and we were north of the border, and I got to do a piece at Kronk Gym with Emmanuel Stewart.
I did some stuff up there way back when. They had a
pretty cool place.
Hinty. What was his first name? Anyway, he was light, not a welterweight, lower than that, lightweight. Lightweight. I think he was from Columbus, but he fought for Kronk Gym for a while. Went up and covered him when he won a world championship up there at one time, and got to know those guys up there. What a gym, Thomas Hitman Hearns.
Right.
By the way, he once said loquaciously, if that's the correct term, when he got out of boxing for a little bit, somebody asked him, "Well, what are you going to do now?" He goes, "I'm going to become an actor." I think a year later he was back in boxing.
You just co-selled us with loquacious.
Thomas Hitman Hearns.
Tommy Hitman.
He had Sugar Ray on the ropes and didn't back off and got beat by Sugar Ray Leonard when he should have beaten him. A lot of these great fights from out of the past. But anyway, speaking of fight, you and I are going to quit fighting now and move on. I'm going to go play golf, believe it or not. I'm supposed to be almost 60 today. You're going to move on and do work on your honeydew list.
That's it.
And ladies and gentlemen,
get ready for a great weekend.
Ladies and gentlemen, we always enjoy talking to you folks, bearing our souls, talking about high water on Sam Rayburn Reservoir, talking about high water on Ross Barnett Reservoir, wherever that lake was you were on.
But we dragged my wife around trying to ski in the Ross Barnett Reservoir. She was in a bikini because I'm going to kill you, I think is what she said. That some of those parts were not anyway.
Where the Natchez Trace runs up the side of that reservoir for like 6 or 8 miles. That is such a beautiful drive. If you've never had a chance to do that, ladies and gentlemen.
You're exactly right.
It's so cool. But
exactly.
You know what?
All right.
We've run out of time, but we'll be back again on Monday, but sometime Monday. Well, we'll talk about UCLA, Ohio State. We'll talk about Ohio State, the number 1 team in the country, probably still then, and then move on in there. It'll be Rutgers week. I got a few surprises. Now, I don't know if the surprises are the right term, but a few interesting interviews coming up next week with people I really like. Okay. But until then, speaking for Clay Hall, who needs really no one to speak for him, I'm Tim May. We'll see you then.